Shalom. I want to start off by saying Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us the truth and who rule well. Peace and citations unto the Akim that is spread around the four corners of the earth, spreading this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Kotazab Sayan from the James Holland branch, coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai with another lesson, with another video. And Lord willing, this video is edifying. Gone. So in this video, I'm gonna go in the fact that our destiny is to be alienated. Our destiny is to be alienated. That's our fate. And fate with F-A-T-E, you know. So if you go into that word alienate, it says 1510s transfer to the ownership of another. That's not the one I want. 1540s, make estrange in feelings or affections. From Latin, alienatus, past participle of alienare, to make another's part with, to part with. Estrange, set at variance. From alienus, of or belonging to another person or place, another, other, different. In the Middle English, the verb was simply alien, from Old French alienar, and directly from Latin alienare. It is stated from mid-1400s in theology estrange, to break away, to desert. You see? So that's the point. Basically, to break away, to estrange, to set at variance. You see? That's what we're destined to do. That's what is required of us to do. Why do I say that? Because that's what the scriptures say. We have to be estranged from our past life, from the past relationships that we had, you know. And with relationships, I mean family relationships and things of those sorts. So let's go to Matthew 10, start at 35. And it says, Matthew 10, verse 35, for I am come, this is red letter, so this is Yahushai speaking, which Yahushai is the person who everybody ignorantly calls Jesus, which the letter J is only 400 years old, you know. So the Messiah, the Son of the Most High, couldn't have a name starting with J, because he had a Hebrew name, which it's Yahushai, which Yah is he, and Yahushai goes into saving or salvation, you see. So his name means he salvation, he saves. So this is red letters, and he's a dark-skinned man coming back to save the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you know, because they are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They don't know who they are, you know. They are lost. We were a lost people, but now the breath of life, which is the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High, the truth, has entered back into us, you know. So now we are standing up on our feet and we are rebuilding the nation. And we're starting off spiritually, you see. So this is Matthew 10, verse 35. Red letters, Yahushai speaking. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. So a foe, what is a foe? A foe is an enemy. So a man's enemy is going to be them of his own household. Why? Because they oppose Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Since we found the truth, since we got the real understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, you know, not Christianity, because Christianity is a lie. Christianity only sells you prosperity, you know. They only give you motivational speeches, and then they take your tithes. but they don't explain the truth. They don't really explain the Bible. Of course, you have these people that are studied, these theologians that know certain records and chronicles and genealogies, and then the main, in the Dutch we say rode draad, so the main story of the Bible, but they don't really tell you the 100% truth because they don't have it, because they don't have the light, you know. Like the scripture says, if they don't speak according to this doctrine, that's because there is no light in them. So they are basically, I want to say, the sanctuary of the dead, the congregation of the dead, because they don't have the life, they don't have the light. There's true wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the Most High. So, like I was saying, a man's foes, so a man's enemies, is going to be those of his own household. Because why? Now we know exactly what we need to do to get back closer to the Most High. And that's straight opposite of popular belief. That is straight opposite of what all these people practice. That's straight opposite of how you were when you came into this truth. So the people that knew you before, they are going to look at you strange, like, hey, this is not the same guy. This is not my son. This is not my brother. This is not the person that was like this all these years since birth. So you're gonna have enemies now in your own household. And it says in verse 35, "For I am come to set at variance a man at variance against his father." And if you go into that word variance, let's go into that. Variance, which is dikazo.
Strong's G 1369. Dechadzo.
Dikazo, which is to cut into two parts, to cleave asunder, to sever, And what does that word sever mean? Sever means to divide by cutting or slicing, especially suddenly and forcibly. You see, so once you know this truth, then all you want to do is get right with Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So you forcibly cut yourself off from your old ways. You forcibly cut yourself off from your father, your mother, and your brother. First you want to take them with you. Because why? You get the light and you want to scream it on the top of every mountain, on top of every house, that we are the Israelites and the kingdom of heaven is for us, that we are going to rule under Yahweh Shai in the kingdom of heaven, that the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we are going to be on top. So you want to scream that from the top of your lungs. You want to tell everybody. You tell your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. But what do? They turn their back on you. I personally experienced that with my mother, with my father, with my sister, because I see it, like the scripture says, out of a family that he would choose one, out of a city he would choose one, roughly paraphrasing. So you are the one that sees it, you are the one that gets it, and you are the one that is basically going to bring back your family in the kingdom of heaven. It's going to be through your loins that your father and mother and sister, that your bloodline is going to be replenished, that is going to continue. Lord willing, Yartazah. You see? But you are the one that gets it, and you wanted to take them with you, but that's not how it was intended to go. That's not the story. That's not what the scriptures say. Because the scriptures, they're basically a story that's being told right in front of your eyes, that's unfolding right in front of your eyes. And you have two main characters. You have the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and then you have Esau, our evil twin brother, which is ruling the earth impotence right now, the so-called white man. Because you know that the so-called white man, he is the one that is pushing evil here upon earth. You know that he's the Satanist. All you other nations, you know that. You see that in this man. You don't want to, you know how filthy this man is. But you know that he's ruling the earth right now, so you have to do business with him. So we are waking up our people, but we are also telling the heathens what is going to happen, because the prophets can only come out of the nation of Israel. You see? So going back, you have to separate yourself. So when Yahushua came, he brought the truth back onto the world. And when he brought the truth back, that's when you got to sever yourself. That's when you got to, he's putting you at variance with your father and with the rest of your family. So now you become enemies, or they become your enemies. You see? And it says, put an end to a connection or relationship, to break off. So that's what's happening, man. If you're taking part in this truth, then you are breaking off from your family. You are breaking off from your the people that you once were close with. You see? Let me see. It says to sever. And also it says to alienate. You see? So it's our destiny to be alienated, to become alienated. That's our fate. If you are a partaker of this truth, or if you are part of this truth, then you're going to be alienated. Otherwise, you can't be taking part of this truth. Because that's what Yahushua said. I come to put a man at variance with his family. And that's what happened to each and every single brother that is in this truth. So that's why the scripture says that you have to take up your cross. You have to take up your afflictions. This is part of the deal. You are the one that understands what's going to happen. You are the one that is going to fight for what is right. You see? That's your destiny. That's your fate. That's your lot. Let me read on. And it says, verse 37, he that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Why? Because you shouldn't put them above Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, he's taking care of you, and he is the one that is going to give you sevenfold, hundredfold of what you lose on this side. He's the one that is really taking care of you. You see? Just like Job. Job, he lost everything, but in the end, he got back and then some. He lost everything. He got boils on his skin. He lost his children. He lost everything that he had, all the abundance, everything that he had, all his substance, all his possessions. But he kept his integrity. So we have to be like Job. You can't love your family more than you love Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You see? Because like it says in 1 Corinthians 11, you have the head. Let me just go to it. 1 Corinthians 11. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahushai, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahushai is Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai. You see, so that's the true order, the true hierarchy. So you have the Most High, then you have the Son, then you have the man, and then you have the woman, and then on down. So we follow Yahushai and Yahweh. So you can't put anything above them. You see? Everything that you got is through Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And it says, and he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. So that's those afflictions that are appointed unto us from the beginning. Let me see, I think that's 2 Thessalonians. Bear with me for a second. Yeah, this is also a good one. This is 2 Thessalonians 1 and 4. So that we ourselves glory in you in the churches of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for your patience and faith in all your persecutions and tribulations that ye endure. So we are appointed there onto these persecutions and tribulations. That's that cross that you have to take up and follow Yahweh Shai. You see? Because Yahweh Shai, the servant is not greater than his master, and Yahweh Shai was persecuted. He went through tribulations. You see, and we follow after his footsteps. Verse 5, which is a manifest token of the righteous judgment of Yahweh, that ye may be counted worthy. You see, like it says, like we just read in Matthew 10, if you don't do these things, then you're not worthy of Yahweh Shai. And the same with Yahweh. So you are not worthy for the kingdom of heaven if you don't go through these things. There has to be a test. There has to be an integrity test for you to pass. Everybody has their own specific designed afflictions that they have to go through, their specific designed test that they have to go through. So it says, verse 5, which is a manifest token of the righteous judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that ye may be counted worthy of the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, for which ye also suffer. So these sufferings is all part of the deal, man. These sufferings is all part of the deal. Bear with me for a second. Yeah. There's also a good one. It's also one of my favorite scriptures. This is 2 Corinthians 1 verse 5. For as the sufferings of Yahushai abound in us, the same way that Yahushai suffered, we also suffer. But he had to go through much worse afflictions than us. But we are getting only a minuscule part of what Yahushai went through. So it says, for as the sufferings of Yahushai abound in us, so our consolation also abounded by Yahushai. So the calling near, because consolation is to comfort and to call near. So Yahushai walked the walk, and he is also now aiding us through our walk. He's succoring us, like it says in the book of Hebrew, that it behooved him to become like one unto his brethren, and now he's helping us, he's aiding us, because the word succor goes into aiding. Verse 6, and whether we be afflicted, it is for your consolation and salvation. You see, so that's what you got to get, that's what you got to understand. So when we are afflicted, we are being hurt on this side. That makes you stronger spiritually, that makes you separate from this part of the world, from Babylon the Great, spiritually, because we came into this world, we were born into this world through your mother, father. You grew up with your siblings, and you have a close bond with them, but they are still part of this world, of this society. If they don't take part of the truth, then they also have to go. Because why? Yahweh Shem Yahshai, this time he only wants a remnant. He doesn't want the whole nation. In the time of Egypt, he took away the whole nation from out of captivity. But this time, he's only gonna use a remnant, a remainder, a small residue, to build up back the nation in righteousness. You see? So, like it says in verse 6, and whether we be afflicted, it is for our consolation and salvation. So when we are hurt on this side, then understand that it's for your salvation and consolation. You growing near to Yahweh Bashem Yeshai, he's calling you near, he's breaking you on this side, but in the end, this hurts now, but what is going to hurt even more? Missiles, intercontinental missiles burning you on this side, or the shit that you're going through right now, so that you can make it in the end, so that you can be saved by the chariots in the end. So the afflictions that we get on this side is just to secure our ticket on the chariot, to secure our comforting by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You see, which is effectual in the enduring of the same suffering which we also suffer. So that's the effect of the endurance that you have to, the endurance that you're building, because going through these things makes you hard. You suffer through these things, it makes you hard. And that's the effect of all this suffering. It makes you hard. And you're not the only one that's going through it, you know. There are other brothers that are going through it also. 144,000 other brothers are going through it, and the innumerable multitude, you know. Oh, whether we be comforted, it is for your consolation and salvation. See? But the other one, point it. Yeah, 1 Thessalonians 3:3, that's the one. It's 1 Thessalonians 3, verse 2. And sent Timotheus, our brother and minister of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and our fellow laborer in the gospel of Yahweh Shai, to establish you and to comfort you concerning your faith. You see, so to put you on the level, to help you, that the things that you are going through, you know, that we have to go through is, this is part of the deal. Because a lot of people that when they understood that they were Israelites, they jumped into this thing, you know, but then they see that they start to get hell, they start to get tempted, they start to get tested, Satan starts to mess with them, and they couldn't endure because they weren't expecting it. They thought it was like Christianity. Okay, now I know I'm an Israelite and I'm gonna stroll into the kingdom of heaven. No, man. Through much tribulation shall you enter into the kingdom of heaven. You see, so it's not going to be a walk in the park. There's going to be a test. There's going to be tests. At every level, there's going to be tests. Not only one test. It's a continual sharpening up and growing up in the truth. Verse 3, that no man should be moved by these afflictions, for yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto. You see? So get that, sear that in your mind, that we are appointed unto these afflictions. That's the cross that we have to pick up and walk with. Otherwise, you're not worthy of Yahushai. Otherwise, you're not worthy for the kingdom of heaven. So let's go to the book of Luke. Let me get a precept real quick. It's in the same chapter, Matthew 10, verse 21. And it says, and the brother, no, that's not it. Verse 22. This is Matthew 10, verse 22. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth till the end shall be saved. See? So people are going to hate you. People are going to hate you because you became different. People are going to hate you because you're straight opposite of how they are. People are going to hate you for the small things that you do. When you go to do grocery shopping, you're going to look at the ingredients. You're going to look if it's vegan. You're not going to eat certain things. You're not going to do certain things, you know, because you are separating yourself, you know. You're making yourself holy, because to make holy means to separate. To separate, to be separate. You see? Well, actually, let me read verse 21 also. And it says, the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. You see? So the severance that is taking place is going to be straight opposite of one another. You're going to have the people that are going to be still in darkness, and you're going to be in the light. You see? So you're going to be straight enemies of each other. So let me go to Luke 14. Verse 26 and 27, and it says, If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. See, so that's the bearing of the cross, like what we are going into, the afflictions. What it says here, not that you have to put them at variance. No, you have to hate them. Hate your father, your mother, your wife, your children, your brothers, your sister, and even yourself. Hate your own life. You know, and when you read it, then it might seem very how you say it? Yeah, in Dutch you say intense. It looks intense. Like you have to hate your parents, you have to hate your wife, you have to hate your sister. But what does it go into? The word hate, which is miseo, and the outline of biblical usage says to hate, to detest, but the Strong's definition says to love less. That's the point. You have to love them less. You can't put them above Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, like I also explained in the beginning. You have to love less. That's what it means to hate in this verse, in this sense. You have to love them less. You can't put them above the truth. The ministry is the first and foremost thing, and then the rest is going to follow in place. You see, the Most High is going to bless you with other things, but the ministry is the first and foremost thing. Gone. So it's our fate, it's our destiny to be alienated, to be cut off, to cut people off, to sever, to put at variance, to love less. So that's all part of the deal, man. So with that, I hope this video is edifying, and I want to say Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Basham Rekakurash, Shalom Akim.